Hey there, gods and beautiful goddesses of your reality. Welcome back. This is Manifest with Jenny and Nutritious Lives. Nutritious Lives. I realise that there's a bit of a shadow thing going on, but however, life's not perfect and I'm certainly not perfect, and you know this. So it's just going to be there over my face. Because I can't, it's too much work to make everything perfect, guys. I'm too spontaneous. But I'm here in Spain, in Torre. I'm gonna butcher it, so I can't even just finish that. I've never been here before, but because myself and SP, we tend to come to Alicante because we love Alicante city. We are doing a little bit of gypogen, and you know I love to be gypogen, so we like hopping from one place to the other, and this is one of the destinations on this little trip. Anyway, getting that out the way, that bit of pointless information that I found necessarily to tell you, because you know this is me, right? I wanted to do a video, the first video actually, since I came to Spain, and it's quite a deep one really, and it's one that I just sort of fleetingly thought about, but is very relevant in the sense that I fully grasp what this means now. And I think on this manifesting journey, and I will make a point of just saying, not just about your manifesting journey, just your mindset, just moving on to the next stage, just leveling up. It really is very important to get this and to apply it, make it very applicable to the way that your brain actually operates. And what I mean by that, now that sounds quite encryptive, but everything that I talk about is mindset. So it's about looking at things to create positivity within your life to move you on to the next level, right? So like I say, but it's how your brain computes that. So whether it computes that better by using terms of spirituality or religion or just mindset, and even the conventional way of looking at things when it comes to mindset, right? So for me, it's to try to simplify things as much as I can, and from my standpoint, what resonates and makes sense for me is always about spirituality. However, I still adopt a lot of information from from listening to people mainstream who have leveled up and with business, with success, with connections, right? So I hope I've kind of made that quite clear, that you can make everything that I talk about applicable, but it's just the wording sometimes that I have to concentrate on, because it really is. It is that it's everything is the same. We've just got to use the proper words and as least triggering words. That's the other thing that I find, that people, because of their own wounds and their own triggers, sometimes we're just triggered and we don't know why. So I always try to give it as basic as I can, but however, because I use spiritual terms, sometimes that's lost. But that's okay, because it's my journey and I'm trying to get it over to you as best as I can with the language that I talk, right? So that being said, we'll get that out of the way. But what I want to talk to you about today and get over is why I look outside of myself as well as looking within myself. So I talk about self-concept a lot, which is predominantly Jen now, and the way that Jen's going to do it going forward, because it's been the biggest game changer for me. Self-concept and seeing myself as the beautiful goddess and queen that I am. And I'm saying that again without ego. I don't mean the, wow, look at me, I'm a queen, I'm a goddess. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what you want to do, but it's not about that. It's about me being my unique individual self, right? And being okay to express who Jen is, because I'm part of the whole, right? And this is a great way to bring you back to what I'm saying. So for me, I always struggled. And I struggled for two reasons when it comes to manifesting, or even life's journey, right? Leveling up, going on to the next level, whatever it was. I struggled because, for one, I didn't have faith in myself. And for two, I never had faith outside of myself either. So you can see how that would equate to me being very disempowered as a person, because I would always search. So there was always, because it's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I was very much a searcher, but the searching is always meant to bring you back to self, and then to have faith outside of yourself as well. And what I mean by that is, I want you to grasp this. The biggest game changer is having faith in yourself, but also having faith in a God. And I know that sounds deep, right? It does, because it's like, oh God, religion, Jen's talking about religion, let's just switch it off. And I'm really not talking about religion. I'm talking about whatever it is that you have faith in, and that could be, for me, it's spirituality. So for me, it's God of energy, and God of energy, like I always say, isn't a male. It's not some male in the cloud looking down saying yay or nay and judging you and doing all that stuff. That's not my God. My God is God in its entirety, because all we have is energy. Everything that we touch and everything that we feel, everything, like down to the flower, down to the sky, down to, as maximum or as minimum as it is, everything is energy. So it's very logical to understand that my God is a God of energy, right? So there's no girl name, there's no boy name. Even when we use terms like source energy, because I use source energy to just use the word, the human words that I can use, but really it can't be named. The Tao, source, God, all of these, if you're Hindu, for example, there's many gods. Whatever it is, it can't be named, because in its entirety it just is, right? So I never had that, and I never had faith in myself. So it was for me forever looking for something that was never, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy basically, that I would always try to lead myself back to me, but I had no faith in me, but I had no faith outside of me, right? So it's complex. I'm trying to simplify it as much as, but this is how we need to do this when we're on our manifesting journey. We need to bring ourselves back to us, to the great I am, meaning that I am whatever I desire. My desires are chosen by me, being the little God of my reality. There's only me that exists in my reality. I choose my desires. But when we're choosing our desires, we have to have faith outside of ourselves that it's going to be bought. And that's just the way it is. We can't skirt around that. But then that means that we have to let go of control, guys. And this is why I want you to choose something outside of yourself that you have faith in, but not to the exclusion of having faith in yourself. it's really important, and it's something that I don't know whether any other coaches are talking about in that way. I think maybe sometimes it's telling you to have faith in yourself, but it's not really telling you the relevance and the importance of having faith outside of yourself as well. And that's not having faith in one human, creating this one person to be your saviour, or this, because we are all flawed as humans. So this is why I talk to you about having faith outside of yourself. Whether that means that you pick a tree, because you know I love trees, and you know I'm a tree hugger. So I'm just using this as an example. This isn't me. God is not just a tree. God is a tree, because in its entirety, God is everything. But it's not just a tree. But let me use that as an example, as a little bit of a quirky, silly example. If you put your faith in your chosen tree, as you're doing the tree hugging like I do, right? And you put all your faith in that tree being the operant power that helps you and co-creates with you, not to the exclusion of your own faith within yourself, that is exactly what's going to happen, guys. So this again brings us back to, there's no one way of looking at these things. There's no one God, right? Muslim, Hindu, Christianity. I'm struggling with all the faiths. You know what I'm talking about, right? Spirituality, anything in between. Atheist, witch, being a witch, a Wicca witch, right? Whatever it is, whatever your faith is, it's having faith within you, knowing that you are part of that, and then having faith in that. And this is I think this is the reason why we as humans struggle, because it feels like we have to belong to, we have to pick a side, and the only side that I'm picking, guys, is me. Like me and God, and we co-create together. I don't know whether I've used the right terms today, but what I'm advising you to do is really work on your faith of self-concept, of faith of self, knowing that you are capable of choosing your desires, but then allowing those desires to come by saying, when you don't understand something, God's got it. And it's not just spiritual woo-woo. This makes sense. It makes sense on every level, because we need to hand over that faith. We need to say, when we haven't got it, our limited minds as humans, when our brain capacity, because we hear this all the time in the conventional way of saying things, we only use 10% of our brain's capacity, and that's true. We do. We are so limited with our thinking. So what I'm asking you to do is use more of your brain, in the sense, by not doing that equation, that scientific equation, or that mathematic equation. It's not that type. It's having faith. It's having the realization that you're not on your own with all this, and you haven't got to be. And it's something that's really helped me, because as on my journey as being your coach or a coach, my work is never completed. Like, I'm never done. I'm always thinking about the next thing, because my brain capacity is learning and growing, and I'm understanding that I'm part of the entirety of it all, and I don't have to wait for anything outside to give me the say-so of saying, you're okay now, the green light says that you can ask for what you want. I am part of this whole, so I get to say what I want, personal to Jen, and I'll get to sit back and allow that to happen. So I'll leave it there. Again, maybe if you're not kind of at the level of consciousness that I am, that's okay. you know, or if you see things in different, your brain works, because we're all so individual, and your brain works in a different way, where you need to understand this via mathematical equations, which is never going to work for me because that is a different language, you know, I hold my hands up, then that's okay too. But for those where this video resonates, where you understand that it's a game of loving yourself and seeing thyself, but also having faith in something outside of yourself, then this is going to mean something to you. And on that note, I'm going to get back to my evening, because as you can see, I've got my evening attire on. So I've just broken away from SP for a little moment. We're being, as I say, we're sort of flitting here, there and everywhere, which is what I like to do. This is part of my life that I'm manifesting. And you have to do what works for you. So if you are a homebody and you don't want to travel, then that's good. You know, manifest the life that makes you feel happy and lights you up, because that's what it's all about. So I'm doing me, and I always want you to do you too. Sending lots of love as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, oh.